Get huge savings all summer long with the Buy Here, Sell Here program at the Team Automotive Group. Sell your vehicle to us and we'll pay you top value. Or buy here and get a 90-day warranty on the purchase of a pre-owned vehicle. Get Team VIP service at every location of the Team Automotive Group.
Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements. And that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hello and welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your slice of South Louisiana heaven since a couple of days ago when we had the opportunity to spend some time with you and yours. This first segment I entitled, I Love It When They Prove Me Right. Remember earlier this week, 2 days ago, as a matter of fact, I opened the show with the segment, Get ready for the boogeyman to return. I mentioned to you at that time, after decades and decades of covering politics, societal trends, and the like, I have gotten to a point where you can see things coming. I told you that the Democrats, in particular the Biden-Harris administration, had nothing to run on except fear. They can't run on their record because it is absolutely dismal. They can't run on demonizing their opponent, Donald J. Trump. We know how that's worked out. 4 indictments in 5 months, and is arguably more powerful, more popular rather, than ever. So I mentioned at the time, the only thing they have left in the deck, the only card they can play, is the fear card. You probably have ascertained by now that it is easiest to control people if you scare them. Just like clockwork. The very next day, the CDC announces, oh, we got the new vaccines for the 2 new strains of COVID. Everybody 6 months old and older needs to get the shot. And, of course, marching in lockstep with the propaganda machine, the governor of New York comes out and says the following, quote, "It is literally a new vaccine. It's not a booster shot. It's not an enhancer. It's a new vaccine designed to attack the new variants. This is a new vaccine built specifically to match the circulating strains. It doesn't matter if you've already been vaccinated. Take no comfort in that. Thank you for getting vaccinated in the past, but that is not protecting you today. This is the best way, by far, to protect yourself and those around you. We've done this since March 2020. No reason to stop now. don't think just about yourself. Tell everybody. Don't rely on the fact that you had a vaccine in the past. It will not help you this time around. Even for healthy adults, COVID is serious. You don't want to get it. Tell everybody. Help spread the fear. Now listen, y'all. It is insulting to Americans that at this point, these people apparently think that we're still not able to think for ourselves. It is so disheartening when the CDC comes out and tells us, you can rest assured that the new vaccine is, quote, and you've heard this before, safe and effective. Listen, y'all, there's no doubt at all that there are some people who would be better served because of an immunity compromised system, pre-existing ailments, elderly individuals in particular, that would benefit the risk to benefit ratio tilts in their favor. But we are still talking about a virus that, according to the, quote, experts, most people, if they get it, will never know they had it, and most people overwhelmingly will get over it. Did y'all catch the fact that this new vaccine is for Americans 6 months old all the way to the eldest? America is going to have to make a decision, and I think many of you already have, based upon the facts of how this was handled in the past, what the government told us, what we now know to be true despite what we were told by the media and the so-called experts. We've seen this play before. We know how it works. And once again, at the end of the day, the easiest way to control people is to scare the bejesus out of them. I told you to get ready because the boogeyman was coming back. Literally 2 days later, we're talking about it. Now listen, y'all, this is not about puffing out my little chest talking about, I told you I was right. Yeah, I was right. Look. No, this is about you deciding to do your own research and make whatever decision is in your best interest. We have walked this path before, y'all, and it's particularly disturbing when you take into account that the so-called powers that be continue day after day, week after week, month after month, now year after year. They continue or refuse to understand the American people and where our sentiments are. When all is said and done, y'all, that decision should be up to you. And I hope that you will do all due diligence so that you can make the best decision for you and yours. Now, you know what you're going to hear, right? You know what you're going to hear. Don't be selfish. This is not about you. This is about saving the children and saving the elderly and people that can't help themselves. You're going to hear it. You are going to be hammered with it over and over and over again. But at the end of the day, that decision and what is best for your family is one that you should make. You're going to be hearing a whole lot more about this. I'm sure that they already have the commercials recorded, the ad campaign put together, and they're going to beat you over the head with the COVID stick once again. And lest you forget, I also mentioned that for the left, this is a twofer. Not only can you distract the American public from your horrible, dismal record, but it will also allow them to push for things like we've seen before with mail-in ballots, etc., etc., etc. I told you it was coming, didn't I? I absolutely love it when they prove me right. But you know, now that I think about it, please understand, I take no pleasure in sharing this with you. I simply want to make you aware of the fact of how the game is played. That way, you know it's coming, you know how they're going to try to influence you, and you can withstand all the propaganda that is going to come your way. It will be incessant. And my gut tells me the closer we get to the election, the more intense it will become. Now, only time will tell whether or not I'm right on that. But considering what I call the BPE factor, which stands for based on past experience, since we've seen it before, we know what it's all about. And we know, or at least we should, what's coming next. You've heard me use this analogy before. Walk through the grass to get to your car. Get in it, start it up, turn on your radio, favorite station, turn on the air conditioner. Start driving and go, oh man, I done stepped in, bleep. You don't have to pull over to the side of the road, take your foot off the accelerator, grab your shoe and look at the bottom. You know what it is just from the smell. I'm going to say that again. You know what it is just by the smell. Y'all didn't know the boogeyman had a smell, did you? Remember where you heard it. First break of today's show. When we come back, there are still some things in today's world that were relevant hundreds of years ago, maybe thousands of years ago. And we are watching it unfold right in front of our very eyes. Even the good book, the Bible, warns us about hypocrites. And yet, they just pop up everywhere. We'll talk about that when we continue today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Very few vehicles develop a community of ownership like the Mazda Miata. But why? Well, maybe it's because Mazda's been building the Roadster for over 25 years and there's never been a bad one. Or maybe it's because the Mazda Miata's been universally praised since its inception as one of the most fun cars to drive for the money. If you're looking for fun, affordability, and reliability, come see our Mazda Miata selection today and experience for yourself why Miata is always the answer. At Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. If you were with us heading into the preceding break, and particularly if you weren't, I teased this topic. The hypocrisy of the left is amazing. Even as far back as biblical times, we were warned about hypocrites. The modern day version of this is a phrase that was coined by whom I have no idea. Rules for thee, but not for me. You've probably seen the big uproar, backlash over the governor of New Mexico banning the carrying of guns, open carry and concealed carry, for 30 days because of a, quote, health emergency, the number of shootings. You've probably seen the backlash, sheriffs, DAs in her state saying, I'm not going to enforce that. That's unconstitutional. So, as they typically do, they went on a media campaign explaining their position and why they're doing what they're doing. I would imagine this governor from New Mexico thought that it was a good idea to go to CNN, because after all, CNN is Democrat friendly and uber left leaning. I can only imagine that she had no clue at all what was about to happen. I mean, after all, it is CNN. You expect them, if you're a liberal, to lob softball questions, big fluffy beach ball questions that you can answer without even thinking about it. And you're certainly not going to be confronted by anything rational, because after all, you're on CNN. So the reporter apparently forgot they worked for CNN. This reporter decided to do some actual work. Quote, the New Mexico Constitution, talking to the New Mexico governor. The New Mexico Constitution, I looked last night. Article 2, Section 6 says this, quote, no law shall abridge the right of the citizens to keep and bear arms for security and defense. No municipality or county shall regulate in any way an incident of the right to keep and bear arms. Let me read that again. The New Mexico Constitution, Article 2, Section 6, says the following: no law shall abridge the right of the citizens to keep and bear arms for security and defense. No municipality or county shall regulate in any way an incident of the right to keep and bear arms. Reporter, quote, are you not in violation of both the U.S. Constitution and your own state's Constitution? Her response, quote, I don't believe that we are. Or in the words of homie D. Clown, I don't think so. She just read you, word for word, what the state's constitution that she took an oath to uphold and defend says. If our schools weren't so dismal, any middle school or high school student could read what the New Mexico Constitution says and pretty quickly come to the conclusion this is unconstitutional. But she says, I don't think so. Now, you know this is going to court. There have been federal cases filed already, state cases filed as well. But I ask you to consider this. A lot of people are railing over the fact that this woman has no idea what she's doing. I think she knows exactly what she's doing. This is a backdoor attempt to circumvent constitutionally guaranteed rights. She is also the governor of New Mexico, an attorney. So if there's anybody out there that should be able to read the verbiage of a constitution and almost immediately know whether something is unconstitutional or not, it should be her. But no. We're going to keep an eye on this, as a whole lot of other people are as well. And whatever developments come along, we'll keep you abreast of those. Speaking of hypocrites, the head of the Chicago Teachers Union is under fire this week. She was one of the most vocal cheerleaders against school choice and private schools, calling on social media private schools are actually, quote, segregation academies. People that don't want their children to go to school, public school, with black children. These are segregation academies. Whole long list of things on social media of her blasting private schools and school choice. So one reporter decided, after she claimed, I got kids in public school and that qualifies me to speak on this issue. So they did a little digging, and come to find out, one of her 3 children is in private school. Imagine that. And when confronted about it, she played the liberal playbook to the hilt. When asked, aren't you being hypocritical here? She immediately, pow, played the victim card. Well, I was forced into this. Excuse me? Well, yeah, see, my son wants to be a soccer star. And to be able to achieve his dreams, we had to put him in a private school. So let me get this straight. Marty, help me out. I know you probably know as much about MISL, Major Indoor Soccer League, as I do, which is like zero. But isn't there a professional soccer team in Chicago? Marty said, don't look at me, bro. I can't help you. Oh, man, it's right on the tip of my tongue, Chicago's soccer team. So you mean to tell me you couldn't put your kid in public school, and for less than what you are paying in tuition for a private school, couldn't you get some tutoring for your son on soccer to pursue his dreams? Rules for thee, but not for me. You had to know when this woman was disparaging the segregation academies, private schools. She had to know, before I say this publicly, they might find out I've got a child in private schools. But nah, what the hell? I'm a Democrat. They won't notice. The hypocrisy is absolutely astounding. Nancy Pelosi comes out and says, yeah, the crime problem we're having in San Francisco, it's all contained in one area, the Tenderloin. Everything else is fine. Recent poll, 50% of San Francisco, what do they call themselves, Marty? San Franciscans want to get out. And Nancy Pelosi says, well, the reason I got to run again is because we need to preserve San Francisco's values. Yeah, I'll check back with you later and see how that's working out for you. But I got a sneaking suspicion that ain't going to age well. Y'all, how many times do I have to tell you? Marty, get ready for the OJs. Don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. And the crowd says it in unison. Of course, now, they can only get away with this if you choose to remain ignorant. They can only get away with this if you believe everything you read. Speaking of which, we're going to tell you later on about the New York Times and why nobody believes them anymore. Bottom of the hour break. Let me get this out of the way. We've got some Louisiana news. Well, I'll just spill the beans when we get back. Stay tuned. You're listening to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Get yourself summer ready with the award-winning lineup of Hondas at Team Honda. We'll help you find just the right vehicle to hit the road to whatever destination awaits you. Come shop the most awarded brand in Car and Driver's 10 Best history at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Seagan Lane.
Every great story starts with the rush of thrilling gaming action. Handcrafted flavors, eager to please. Getaways for some well-deserved me time. And rewards worth bragging about. If it's a story worth telling, it starts at La Berge Baton Rouge. What's your story?
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
It's time to go where summer leads you during the season of discovery at Team Mazda. Transcend ordinary in the Mazda CX-5 or experience the next level of luxury in the all-new Mazda CX-90. Come by today and discover Mazda at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. In Louisiana news, it has actually, a couple of instances, it's happened again. Another deadly shooting in a school here in our state. Shots were fired at St. Helena College and Career Academy on Tuesday at the end of school. Sources say a victim walked into the parish hospital with gunshot wounds and told the staff that he'd been shot at school and that more people were injured. Back on campus, helicopter airlifts the other surviving victim to Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital in Baton Rouge. The suspected gunman is a 14-year-old student at the school, and law enforcement says while we're sifting through all the peripherals, we think it could be related to bullying. Parents, you got to talk to your kids, y'all. You got to talk to your kids. If it was, in fact, a case of bullying, Marty, if you would help those fine folks there out. If you don't know what's going on in your children's lives, social media, cell phones, etc., you are asking in today's climate for a problem. I would like to think that there had to be someone in the sphere of influence of this 14-year-old that could have picked up some signals or some signs of what was happening. Obviously, there had to be a disconnect with everyone in that sphere of influence and that 14-year-old. If we can't reach our own children, y'all, we are doomed. Just an observation. Meanwhile, we found out, and I think we shared this story with you on Tuesday, that the 79-year-old Baton Rouge man, who by all accounts was an amazing individual, expecting this December to earn his master's degree from Southern University, before being found shot to death in his own home. Well, since then, law enforcement arrested his 30-year-old son for the crime. Now, listen, y'all, I get it. I understand that individuals that have lacking mental faculties on any given day can snap. We've all seen instances of it, not just in Louisiana, all across the country and all across the world for that matter. But even more troubling than the 79-year-old man about to receive his master's degree, murdered in his own home, is the fact that law enforcement did some digging. And they found out this 30-year-old arrested and accused of murdering his own father. 2 years ago, this same individual walked into a room and without any provocation at all, pulled out a gun and started shooting. One guy in this room was shot 5 times. He was arrested and was allowed to plea bargain down to a battery charge. So instead of getting 10 years in prison, like he should have, he was given 3 years probation. I don't know him personally. I only know from reporting on stories where he was the judge. But I always thought Lou Daniels was a straight shooter. I always thought that we wouldn't have to hear about things like this from his court. You walk into a room and without any provocation at all, pull out a gun, start shooting, and shoot one guy 5 times. You're arrested and allowed to plea bargain all the way down to a sentence of 3 years probation. This was just 2 years ago, y'all. And unfortunately, you cannot say, well, there were no signs there. This is completely behavior that nobody could predict. Well, in this case, I think you could. When you walk into a room, nobody calls you an ugly name, nobody throws anything at you, you just walk in, pull out a gun, and start shooting? That's a pretty good indicator that we need to get this guy off the streets. But instead, he's put back on the streets. And now, a 79-year-old gentleman who by all accounts was an absolutely amazing individual. At 79, about to earn your master's in December, and he goes out like this. We got a problem, y'all, and we need to address it. Finally, this must be the recurring theme for the day. It has happened again. Right here in Baton Rouge, another school teacher arrested for an inappropriate sexual relationship with a minor at the school where he worked. You know, I often wonder if we've become desensitized to this sort of thing. The frequency with which it is happening, and tip of the hat to individuals in the school systems and law enforcement that stay on top of this before it happens, and maybe we just do a better job of rooting it out than other people. But I've got to think anyone considering something like this if they thought for 1 minute that, man, you better not do that in Baton Rouge, them folks serious about that kind of stuff, a whole lot of them wouldn't even dare do it. Now, granted, there are always some folk out there that think they're smarter than everybody else. There's always somebody out there that thinks they're smart enough to get away with it. And there's always folks out there that just don't care. But by sending a message about this, you would cut the instances way, way down. You know, as sad a commentary as it is, guys and girls, based on the frequency with which we've seen these things happen, it pains me, but it's what my gut tells me. And Lord knows I've learned to trust my gut over the years. This is not going to be the last time, y'all. But like so many other things in life, in Louisiana and in this country, only if we sit silent and allow it to happen. It is a very, very troubling trend. And I only hope, because I know somebody like this, I only hope you will not allow this to desensitize you to the urgentness and the severity of the problem. I have a very dear friend that I ask on occasion, have you seen this story regarding such? Oh, I don't read that anymore. Excuse me? No, it's too depressing. I start reading that, and then I got to read this, and I got to look at that. It's just too much. So I'm saying to myself, I understand your sensitivities. I understand your sensibilities. But if you're not aware of a problem, how can you hope to fix it? The first step, my late father, Sarge, taught us, first step in fixing a problem is admitting that there is one, formulating a plan to fix it, and making amends to those who have been harmed by it. Unless and until we do that, y'all, unfortunately, my gut tells me I will be telling you about more and more and more of these stories as the days go by. God knows I hope I'm wrong, but I've learned to trust my gut, y'all. And as we mentioned earlier, the BPE factor, based on past experience, we're going to see some more. God, I hope I'm wrong, but my gut tells me, Clarence, you've seen this play before. Just saying. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and we wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close. Few things in life are as valuable as family and peace of mind, especially when it comes to your final arrangements, and that's where Lee Serio can help. His prepaid funeral plans make sure your life will be remembered exactly the way you want it to. With Lee Serio, no detail is too large or too small. Call Lee or his wife Gretchen at 225-315-6329. Let Lee Serio give you and your family the peace of mind you all deserve.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Tremonti's has meat. Tremonti's has seafood. Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters. Huge wine and liquor selection. Beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats. Ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs. 20 flavors of sausage for the grill. Daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremontes.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With private healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. One of the things that I love about paying attention to things and following societal trends is how we come up with names and phrases for things. With the advent of the internet, we now have the ability to, speaking of recently coined phrases, keep the receipts. People can say things, people can do things, and it's on the internet pretty much in perpetuity for people to see. The new phrase that's been coined recently is, well, that didn't age well, meaning what you said when you said what you said didn't turn out to be that way at all. As in, boy, that didn't age well. Have y'all been to the gas pump recently and looked at the prices? I guess many of us are spoiled. For so many years, we would just pull up to the pump, stick the nozzle in the tank, pump away. Didn't really worry a whole lot about, hey, this is 30% higher than it was 2 days ago. We didn't pay attention. We were blissfully ignorant. Well, Amos Hochstein serves as the White House Special Presidential Coordinator for Global Infrastructure and Energy Security. Back in May, in an interview with CNBC, he praised the Biden administration's policies, saying that, quote, we took the decision, a number of decisions, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve was only one of them, to make sure to bring down inflation that we're seeing right now. Oil prices, which affect food prices, were really affecting inflation rates. We brought down the price of oil and the price of gasoline and electricity and food for the consumer. We're still looking at what's happening, but I don't see a big surge in oil prices coming this summer. By the way, when he made those comments, oil was selling for $71 a barrel, which equated to about $3.50 a gallon. Since then, yesterday as a matter of fact, Wednesday, oil prices hit $89 a barrel, and it's up to a $3.85 average. Like I said, that didn't age well. I don't know what it's going to take, or if it's even a consideration, for those on the left to finally admit that Bidenomics is a disaster. At least this guy knew that gas prices contribute to inflation for everything. You know the old saying, if you bought it, a truck brought it? Anything that you buy in the store, it was loaded on a truck and delivered there. So when the price of gas goes up, well, it cost us more to bring this food. You don't think the grocery store is going to say, you know what? These are our fellow Americans. We're not going to raise the prices to pay for all this extra gas that we had to buy. We're not going to do that. Really, y'all? In case you don't know, the purpose of being in business is to make money. And anything that increases your overhead always, traditionally, gets passed right on to the consumer. That's you at the gas pump. But he doesn't expect a big surge in oil prices. Meanwhile, our nation's security blanket, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, big stockpiles of oil and gas in case war breaks out or something goes horribly wrong. We've got this stuff set aside, squirreled away to help America. Because of Joe Biden raiding the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, it is now at the lowest level it's been in 40 years. And did I mention there's no concrete plan to replace all of that? But Karine Jean-Pierre says the economy is doing great. Joe Biden says Bidenomics, that's the way to go. Think about that the next time you're pumping gas. Not that it's going to help your wallet any, but think about it. And tell yourself, like they tell us, you're doing great. Economy's fine. Everything's working out. And when you get in your car and turn that key and the gas needle doesn't move, I hope you remember that the next time you vote. Finally, they really shouldn't have to wonder, but they do, why no one believes them anymore. The mainstream media in recent years, they've shown their true colors, y'all. And now, I guess better late than never, we find out who these people really are and what they're all about. You know, and I get it, y'all. I understand everything must change. Nothing remains the same. I get it. But I really miss the days when you could read something from a major news organization and believe it. There was no propaganda. There was no twisting of facts. There were no outright lies. I hate to be the one to tell you this, but them days are gone, hoss. Those days are gone. For example, the New York Times, many of us conservatives refer to them as the New York Slimes, but I digress. This week, put out an article with the headline, quote, "The lies about the leak of Democrat Suzanne Gibson's sex tape." If you're not aware of this story, this woman, Democrat, of course, is running for the state house in Virginia. To raise money for her campaign, she and her husband, apparently, thought it would be a good idea for them to have hardcore sex on the internet, let people who were watching on the internet send in recommendations on what they'd like to see them do, And also, if you like what you see, send us some money. This was posted online. But the New York Times says it was a sex tape and tries to make it out to be, oh my God, can you believe this invasion of privacy? They took this woman's sex tape and exposed it for all the world to see. No, they didn't. She did it. She and her husband posted it online with a comment section and asking for tips. You could probably, I'll say 60%, ask a middle school student today, if you post something on the internet, can you expect it to be private? They'll all tell you. No, it's on the internet. It's there for people to see. Okay, well, how about if I post something on the internet and ask people to comment on it? Do you think I should be afforded privacy for that? No, it's the internet. You put it out there. So if I post something on the internet, ask you to give me recommendations on what you'd like to see me do, and ask you for money, should there be an expectation of privacy? Well, no, it can't be. If you're asking for money, asking for recommendations, and you put it on the internet, you can't expect privacy. But she is being made the victim here. Just goes to show you why we don't believe what these people tell us anymore. It would have been so easy to simply tell the facts of the case. But instead, the New York Times goes out of its way to make her a victim. We want to keep an eye on this race and see how it comes out. Because at the end of the day, if this is the best you can do to represent you, you might want to consider moving somewhere else. Just saying. Speaking of which, my time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But you already know the drill. If you've ever watched me or listened to me on radio for any amount of time, you know I am the first to tell you. On this day, maybe more so than any other, I give it to you. You know what? You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking to the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Best news you're going to get all day. There ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves and each other. God bless.